All right. If you're here, will you just say hi in the comments? Just just comment and tell me who's here so I can let the school know. Just like you comment on a YouTube video. There's Douglas. Okay. There's four of you here, but okay. Five people here. Okay. Then send me, put it in the comments. That way it'll pop them in, and I can know. Let's go look at the vocabulary für Freitag, für nächsten Freitag. We have a week. I don't know how much, what's going to happen next week. If all this bad weather shows up, we'll have to wait and see. But well, part of the title of the chapter is familia. Familia, which is a word we've used already, but familia, of course, family. And a lot of the vocab, as you've already seen, hopefully yesterday, is different different family members that by title, I guess. And this chapter always surprises me. I always forget how many different relatives that we can have. Between relatives by marriage and relatives by blood. It's a lot. So, and the book covers quite a bit. So let's see. The word for baby, that's easy. We have das Baby. We can just pronounce it differently. And parents. Now, parents is always a plural in German. It is in English too. Parents with an S. And there is no singular word for parent in German. If you say the singular, if you want to talk about one parent or the other, you have to say mother or father. But in German, there's only a plural word for this. So parents, and it's always plural, is die Eltern. Die Eltern. Sibling. Right? So that's a word we don't maybe use all the time, but sibling, das Geschwister. Sounds like sister in there somewhere, but it's not though. Geschwister. Das Geschwister. Grandparents. See, and then you have grandparents, or you have parents, then you're going to have mom and dad. And you have grandparents, you have grandma and grandpa. So it just kind of multiplies on itself. But grandparents, die Großeltern. So we have die Eltern, and now great parents is what this really means. Groß can mean other things too, but Großeltern, in this case, grandparents. Okay. Half brothers. So we get into this thing now with marriage and remarriage. So half brother, yeah, and that brother is cut in half right there, is a Halbbruder. That's pretty. We had the word halb earlier when we talked about telling time. So Halbbruder, half. There's the word for brother. It'll come up again. Okay. Half sister. Okay. Well, there's half a sister. That is Halbschwester. Halbbruder und Halbschwester. And a child, so we have a baby, das Baby, but that's something different to us than a child. Child is more general, I think. But that's das Kind. The plural is Kinder, which is a word you already knew before you came to class ever. Das Kind und die Kinder. But das Kind is singular child. Okay, last name. So this is Maria Lopez. Her last name is Lopez, and that word for that is Nachname. It's going to pop up here. There we go. Der Nachname. Good. A couple just got married here. That's a pretty easy word. It's like a pair. Das Paar. And brother-in-law. Now we get into these by marriage. Brother-in-law. Here he is. Well, I'm not sure which one. I don't know who's the brother-in-law in this picture. But Schwager. Yeah, no connection to English at all there. Schwager. And the other side of that, you got a brother-in-law. There's going to be a sister-in-law. And That's going to be similar, but Schwägerin. So we add an umlaut over the A and the IN for the feminine. Schwager, Schwägerin. Okay. Mother-in-law. All the in-laws. Schwiegermutter. So we have Schwager and this is Schwieger. Schwiegermutter. And I think father-in-law, you could just guess. Remember this movie? It was a good one. Schwiegervater, Schwiegermutter und Schwiegervater. Or Schwiegereltern, my parents-in-law, people might say. Stepbrother, see now? That's a good movie too. Stepbrother, it's funny. We have half-brother. That means you share one parent in common. Stepbrother, that's different. That word is Stiefbruder. Stiefbruder. And we have all the steps here. Stepmother. So in the class before you guys, we're reading, I think I told you we're reading Snow White. And in Snow White, as in many fairy tales, the stepmother plays an important role, always a negative role. The stepmother's never a good person in the fairy tales. In real life, that just could be, yeah, but stepmother is Stiefmutter. So we're going to take all these words, Mutter, Vater, Bruder, Schwester. You know, this book doesn't go as crazy to talk about step-aunts and all that, but Stiefmutter, Stiefvater, Stiefbruder, Stiefschwester. Okay, stepsister, I just said this word, Stiefschwester. It's going. There we go. The lag. That was the problem yesterday. And okay, well, stepson. That's another one I didn't think about. Stepson. Good. Well, here's the word for son. Sohn. The book's like Sohn, Bruder. I don't think they think the word Mutter or Vater, but they tell you the word for step, and that way you get both at one time. So, Sohn is a son, right? Could be typical, perfect nuclear family, mom, dad, married for many years, child together who's a boy. He's der Sohn. But then you marry into a family where the person already has a son. He's then your Stiefsohn. So we learn two words in one that way. Stepdaughter, same thing, but there's a new word though, Tochter. Die Tochter is daughter. Stepdaughter, die Stieftochter. Okay, and then of course I mentioned already stepfather, stepdad is Stiefvater. That's a Stief. We don't talk about Halb. Halb only occurs with brother and sister, I think. The family gets complicated. All right. Relative, these are all your relatives, but a relative, no matter who they are, depends on if it's a man or a woman, but the word is this, der Verwandte for men, die Verwandte. So a father would be a der Verwandte, and a cousin who's a girl would be a die Verwandte. Twin, oh wow, there they are, red-headed twins. And that word is Zwilling. Zwilling. All right. A pet. Well, let's get it right down to the real family stuff. Pet, guinea pigs and dogs and cats and fish and lizards and birds. Okay. Pet is a Haustier. House, we know. Tier, not so sure. Tier is an animal. Literally, it's a house animal. Yeah, you gotta like that. That's Haustier, as opposed to an animal in the wild, I guess. That's a Haustier. Fish, that's easy. Dash with a SCH. And we have dog. That's pretty easy too. It looks like another word we know. The word is der Hund. It looks like the word hound almost. Just add an O right there. You've got hound. But der Hund is the German general word for dog. And then cat, also close to English, die Katze. Die Katze. Okay, bird, der Vogel, der Vogel. Marital status. So this is something you might see on a form or application or who knows what. Marital status is Familienstand. Familienstand. That's a word you probably won't have to worry about for a while. A widower. Oh, sad. So there's the man. He's at his wife's funeral. And that word in German is a Witwer. 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 Der Witwer, that's a man. And if a woman is widowed, we say in English too, we say men are widower. It ends in er, just like this German word did. So we say widower, er. They say Witwer with er on the end. And then a widow is Witwe. Die Witwe. Der Witwer. Die Witwe. Sehr gut. Divorced. Well, okay. Divorced is, the adjective is geschieden. Geschieden. And maybe prior to divorce, maybe not. Separated, that's getrennt. So geschieden und getrennt. There was a TV show on German television back, I don't know, probably in the 80s, I don't know, it's a long time ago. And the name of the show was Glücklich geschieden. Glücklich geschieden, happily divorced was the name of the show. But it had to do with a couple who had divorced, but they were a good couple. Like they worked well. They together as a divorced couple. They raised the kids and shared things, and it was a good show from that perspective. But in the 80s, those kind of shows were popular, family type shows like that, even if they're a little bit different. Anyway, that's how I remember the word geschieden all the time. Someone's single as opposed to, married or engaged or something like that. But this word for single is ledig, and married, these are adjectives now. Married is verheiratet. Verheiratet, that's a mouthful. Ledig und verheiratet. And then we have engaged, which is verlobt. So we had verheiratet, both beginning in er, verlobt, so ledig, verheiratet und verlobt, and the last word is the verb to marry. So we had verheiratet, which is the adjective married. Verb to marry is similar to that, but it's heiraten without the ver. Heiraten is the verb to marry, and I think that's the end of the vocabule. Good. Come back here. Good deal. Okay, I want to go over a couple of things on the house. Thank you guys, Colin and Wait. On the Hausaufgabe, which you should have already turned in. That's why I'm going to go over it now. Parts of it, and that's what I asked for. Let's see which one here. Let's look at kombinieren Sie. Now, it really required you to go through the vocab and maybe even dig into your book a little bit because, it's hard to start a new chapter. Oh, yeah, let's hold off on that one. Let me, hold on a minute, because we're going to have to pull the book up to do some of these things. Let me, there's one we can do without getting the book open just yet. Identifizieren Sie. No, I guess we're not. So we're going to have to switch back and forth here. So if you have your book, or you can pull up VHL in the book, let me show you, the page number that you want is 96 and 97. And this is, I'm going to start wishing we had the old system because we're 2 pages at once. Maybe see here. Can I look at 2 pages at once? I'm just thinking maybe there is a way to do that. All book notes. Setting. It just kind of hit me all of a sudden. Oh well, that's all right. It makes it a little bit hard, but let me show you what we got here is a family tree, and on 96 it starts, but the family tree spreads across to page 97 also. So we're going to have to kind of do some flipping around here. Let me see. Maybe I can. Oh, I wish there was a better way to look at that picture. Let me see if I can. Yeah. Okay, well, we'll do what we can here. Let's pull up one of these exercises. Okay, so what we want to do is let that pop up here. Okay, so match the people with the description. Okay, so there's a central character here, and that's I think Mariana. Let me see here. Yeah, so here's Mariana, and Mariana ist mit verheiratet. Peter und Mariana sind. Peter und Mariana haben eine Tochter, Sabine, und Peter haben einen Sohn, Markus. Sabine ist Markus' Schwester und Markus ist Sabines Bruder. Und Markus ist verheiratet. Markus hat eine Frau und Markus' Frau heißt Michaele. Michaele. Michaele ist Sabines Schwägerin. Schwägerin. Und Michaele und Markus haben zwei Kinder. Zwei Kinder. Und das sind Jonas und Grete. Jonas und Grete. And these are words that are not in our vocab yet, but Jonas ist Sabines, guess what that is. Und Grete ist Sabines Nichte. Nichte. Good. That's all in relation to Sabine. There's a red box around her there. And then Sabine und Markus' Vater ist Peter. Und Sabine und Markus' Mutter ist Mariane. Und Mariane hat Eltern. Marianes Vater heißt Walter. Right here, Walter Gärtner was her name. Gärtner. And let me, because his wife's on the other page here. Let's see here. Ja, Walters Frau heißt Hannah Gärtner. Gärtner. Good. See if I can pull it over here. Maybe it'll go. Yeah, okay. So on the other side of the family, Mariana hat einen Bruder. It's a Bruder. We'll go to this side. Und Marianas Bruder heißt Dieter. Dieter Gärtner, because he comes from Hannah Gärtner. And Dieter ist verheiratet. Dieter hat eine Frau. Dieters Frau heißt Renate Gärtner. Dieter und Renate Gärtner. Und Dieter und Renate haben drei Kinder. Sie haben drei Kinder. Und die Kinder heißen Stefan, Sandra und Katja. Stefan, Sandra und Katja. Ja. Stefan ist der Sohn und Sandra ist eine Tochter und Katja ist eine Tochter. None of them look like they're married, but there's one more person in the family, and that is Zeus. Und das ist der Hund. It's highlighted here. Sandra und Katjas Hund heißt Zeus. Okay, so if you want to keep that open, let's look and see Mariana's Bruder. So to find Mariana's Bruder, the answer is, you have to go sit back and forth, but Mariana was over here. She's the daughter of these, her parents up here, and Dieter. Dieter ist ihr Bruder, so we would find his name here. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about this wrong. Mariana's Bruder, so that would be, I'm sorry, let's do it this way. We're doing everything in relation to Mariana, so let me pull that back up again. Not to Mariana, to Sabina. That's why she's highlighted in the red there. So let's go back over here to this page, 76, and we see, if it'll let me. All right. Here's Sabina. Right there. How is she related to Mariana's Bruder? So her mom's brother. Well, her mom's brother would be, you can take a guess here. So we don't know all these words yet. Wouldn't be Eltern, Tante. What does Tante mean? Huh? Cousin, that's easy. Schwägerin, Nichte, we just talked about. The answer is uncle, because it's her mom's brother. That's Sabina's uncle. Good, we kind of skip around here and go to Markus's Frau. Markus's Frau, well, we're a family tree. Markus is here. Markus, Bruder von Sabina, Sabina's Bruder. And the question's asking us, Markus's Frau, how would she be related to Sabina? And that would be Sabina's sister-in-law. Yeah, Schwägerin. This weird word, Schwager, Schwägerin. Good. Mariana und Peter. Let's find and see how they are related to Sabina. Mariana und Peter. I don't see them on this side, so they must be on the next page, if it'll let me go there. All right. So, Mariana und Peter. Oh, did I skip them somewhere? Oh, I did, sorry. They are gotta go back to 96. You don't want to. Okay. So, Mariana und Peter. Oh, those are her parents. See, here's Sabina, Mariana und Peter. So that's easier. Then Sabina's Eltern. Eltern's parents. Onkel. By the way, I didn't talk, but Onkel und Tante. Those go together. Tante und Onkel. And Eltern, that's Mutter und Vater. Schwägerin und Schwager, I guess. Nichte und Neffe. Niece and nephew, okay? Anyway, Dieter und Renate's Sohn. Now we got to go back to the next page. Dieter und Renate's Sohn. Pull that back. Okay. There it worked. Dieter und Renate's Sohn is, I think his name is Stefan. But the question is, how's he related to, here he is, there's Dieter und Renate und seinen Sohn Stefan. Stefan Gärtner, what would he be to Sabine? Is the Onkel von Sabine, die Tante, I like this word, Tante Renate, that rhymes. Onkel und Tante, Onkel Dieter, Tante Renate. Stefan Gärtner ist der Sohn. So to Sabine, just think for a minute while I'm... Sabine, their son would be Sabine's cousin. Cousin? It's a French word, actually. But it's French to us as well, as far as I know. Okay, let's just skip around. Let's just pick one more and say Markus's Tochter. Markus's Tochter. I think Markus, your Bruder. Yes. Pull this page over. Oop. Try again. Markus. Scroll down. Yeah. So Markus ist ihr Bruder. And the question is, Markus's Tochter. Good. So they have one of each. And Markus's Tochter, what would that be then? Her brother's daughter. Markus's Tochter would be her Sabine's Nichte. Sabine's Nichte. Opposite of Nichte would be Neffe. That's closer to English. Nephew. Neffe. N-E-F-F-E. Notice something here. We're dealing with possessives in some cases. And the name, this girl's name that we're relating around is named Sabine. S-A-B-I-N-E. But when we want to say Sabine's dad, Sabine's father, Sabine's mother, Sabine's nephew, niece, we're not adding an apostrophe S. That's the rule in English, is to add an apostrophe to show ownership or relationship. So, but notice we're just saying Sabine's Onkel, Sabine's Schwägerin. The only time you might see an apostrophe, or you would see an apostrophe, is in a name like Markus that ends in an S already. This is actually the rule in English as well, but not a very well listened to rule. But Markus, and the apostrophe comes after the last S. We don't add another S to. Now some people do that. You'll see it all the time. But Markus's, yeah. But that might be how we say it. But maybe. But Markus apostrophe. That's how we indicate Markus's. I just said it too. Wife. If we put an apostrophe after. That's the only time you're going to see apostrophes. Don't show ownership in German. Only apostrophes maybe show a contraction of some sort, like you left out some letters, like we do in English, like with can't or wouldn't or shouldn't. We have use an apostrophe. They do that in German too, but not to show ownership. Anyway, that's a little extra thing. Sabine's Onkel, Sabine's Schwägerin, and so on. Okay, let's look at one other, and this part of it also has to do with this family tree. And I don't want to run out of time, but let's see if this is one we can... Yeah, okay, right each... Okay. Tell you what, let's look at this other one here. That takes a lot of time to go back and forth, especially with my slow computer, from one page to the next. This is just more family and vocabulary, and I know you've already... So, Vater und Mutter. Vater is, that those two go together, right? So, what do we call a Vater und Mutter pair, a married Vater und Mutter? Our choices are Geschwister, a Paar, Großeltern, Eltern, Kinder. Now, I see there might be a couple of words that might work here, but we're talking, let's just say it's in relation to you. Vater and Mutter, we would call them Eltern. Now, just to open it up more. Vater and, well, grandparents are also fathers and mothers, just not to you, but to your parents. But let's make it for you and say that's Vater, Mutter, Eltern. Okay, Bruder, Bruder, Bruder und Schwestern. This is plural, brothers and sisters. What do we call them? Bruder und Schwestern. We say our Geschwister. Now this shows it all together here. Here's the word for sister, or sisters, with an E right there, Schwester, or Schwestern, plural, and then Geschwister, also with the GE on the beginning, so it makes it different, but that's the word for siblings, brothers and sisters in general, Geschwister. Now, we had the word earlier, Großeltern. You can apply to that word too, Großvater or Großmutter. You can take a good guess what that means. Großeltern, grandparents. But this is kind of a, yeah, you know, we have different things we call our grandparents. Grandma and grandpa and granny and pappy and who knows what else. This is the most common, maybe most relatable to like grandma, grandpa, as opposed to grandmother, grandfather. This is Oma und Opa. Oma und Opa. Well, Oma and Opa are Großeltern. Right, this refers to your grandparents. Your Sohn und Tochter. Hopefully, I don't think any of you have a son or a daughter at this time. Maybe someday. Sohn und Tochter. What would that be then? What do we call that? When they're your Sohn und Tochter, they're your Kinder. Kinder. Last one, Mann und Frau. So this is the word for, and this is a word that's not in the vocab. It's pretty easy though. The word Mann can mean man, and Frau can mean wife or even Mrs., if you remember that from chapter 1. Frau can mean woman or Mrs., but Frau has a third meaning. They're all in the same category, I guess, but Frau also can mean wife, and Mann can mean husband. So Mann und Frau, that's pretty easy. Mann und Frau are husband and wife, and it always sounds weird to me when someone says, "Das ist meine Frau." It still sounds strange to me. Maybe I'm thinking too much in my head about it, but this is my woman. Das ist mein Mann. That's my man. I don't know. Doesn't sound that weird, but all right. Mein Mann, meine Frau, and that will be referred to as a par, a couple. Yeah. That's the best. That's not the only word we call them, but that would be what we've got left, and that's the best one. So Mann und Frau ist richtig. Okay. Let me stop sharing this and put away some of these. Okay. Good. Most everyone's here. Good. So the last thing I want to do was share this video with you. And let me close out some windows here so I don't load my gentle and very sensitive old laptop. All right. That was in my head yesterday. Sorry about we didn't get out here, but let's. Yeah, this video, it's pretty good, and it's off, and I'll give you another video in the same family of videos about family, because as we get into this a little bit more, but this is a little more general, and I'll let it play here for about 6 or 8 minutes or so. This video may get my video knocked off as soon as it uploads to YouTube. They may consider this to be, using copywritten material to. And it probably is, but I'm using it for the same reason that they want us to use it, and that's to teach German. So here it is. It's 15, let's see what the actual title is. 15 German expressions you should know. Maybe you already know. We'll see. Maybe not. Okay. And I'm going to as soon as it's ready to play, I'll the screen. Looks like she's ready to say something. There we go. Sorry, I was muted. I'd like to watch the rest of that with you, and maybe even have a. It's 15 phrases, and they are really all are pretty frequently used, everyday phrases, and useful phrases too. So maybe we can have like a middle of the week vocab quiz or something just over those, just for fun, and some extra points. Okay, so es ist 2:54. So eine Minute. But I'm gonna let you guys go ahead and go. And everyone be safe this weekend, okay? It's gonna get nasty. I don't know if I'll see you Monday here or at school. I hope at school, but it doesn't look great. If the weather forecast is right, but usually they're not, but we'll see. Okay, so, ich wünsche euch schönes Wochenende. Tschüss und auf Wiedersehen, ne? Geh nach Hause.